June is Pride Month, and we're spotlighting members of the LGBTQ community who continue to fight the fight for equality and freedom. One of San Francisco's most famous transgender women is Theresa Sparks, who served as the first transgender to serve as the city's Human Rights Commission. She then served as the San Francisco Police Commission. She served on that commission before moving back home to Kansas. She joins us now to share her personal journey with us. Theresa, thank you so much for joining us today.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Tell us how it all started. A very, very active journey for you. How did it all start for you?
Well, I came to San Francisco to deal with some gender issues I'd had all my life. And I found the environment there, although somewhat welcoming, not unhostile. And I just started getting involved in some community organizations, and that kind of led me to more and more involvement. I got involved in a couple of political campaigns, and just it kind of evolved into, what ended up as almost a full-time profession, being involved in the community.
Did you think that that was going to be your trajectory at any point when you came to San Francisco?
Oh, no. No, I had a therapist tell me I could either be stealth, go under the radar, I could just be honest but not be out, or I could get involved. And my choice was to not get involved. But, circumstances overtook themselves, and, you can't, back then you could not get involved because there was so much discrimination, so much violence, so many issues. So I just felt like it was, kind of my turn to get in the mix.
I'm a huge believer in everything happens for a reason. I feel like there's a certain path that's kind of created for everyone, whether we know it or not. And that just seemed to be the path that you were supposed to embark on.
I as well have always believed that. And I gave up a pretty significant white privileged life prior to moving to San Francisco. And, now 25 years later, you have to ask your question, was it all worth it? And, I think I can answer the question honestly, it was. I think that, if I made any difference at all in the lives of any people in San Francisco or elsewhere, it was worth it. And I'm proud of what kind of happened.
As far as the political landscape goes, Kansas and San Francisco, two very different worlds. I'm sure back then it was also very different. How would you compare the two back 25 years ago? And would you say the comparison is somewhat similar now, or has there been progress made in both of those regions?
Well, let me give you an anecdote. Back then, when I started to try to explore my transgender identity, or whatever it was, because back then there really weren't a lot of terms for it, I found an organization. And to get contact with the organization, you had to send them a letter to a post office box. And then from the letter, somebody contacted you by phone to interview you. And then after the interview, they decided whether or not they would or would not talk to you in person, because they had to determine if you were really authentic or if you were just trying to go after them. So that's kind of where Kansas City was back then. There really was no transgender community. There were drag queens, and there was a gay community, but it was all underground. I mean, way underground. And so, I buried it and went on with my life until I moved to San Francisco. But now, there's a lot of activity around the LGBT community here in Kansas City, driven a lot by the young people in the local universities. We have 3 or 4 universities locally, and every one of them have a pretty robust LGBT organization, and that kind of has driven the LGBT community in Kansas City. And so consequently, it's, of course, nothing's like San Francisco, but it's becoming a very robust community here. And I'm amazed at how many out LGBT people I run into just on a day-to-day basis.
There is, San Francisco is kind of in its own category, but when you do talk about, for example, the trans community being so underground back then, and now it's unearthed and there's a robust community, that shows a lot of progress, you know, for a state that's, you know, historically conservative, and it's promising to see that more and more people are not only accepting of it, but, you know, those who are in that community feel more comfortable coming out, because I'd only imagine that knowing that who you are is accepted in society only allows it to be that much easier to come out. Am I right?
Well, trans people still, I think, in areas like Kansas, have still a hard time coming out. It's not fully accepted. Lesbian and gays, I think, are. Trans people are still looked on with some skepticism. I know there's been issue with the Kansas state legislation around trans students and sports. And so there's still a discrimination against trans people here and elsewhere in the Midwest, as you described, in certain regions of the country. Kansas is very much that way. It's a very Republican, it's a very conservative, very religious kind of atmosphere, and that permeates, you know, the attitudes towards a lot of issues, particularly LGBT.
Why do you think the transgender community is so, I don't know if I want to use the word misunderstood, but is met with so much more resistance now in 2021 than the gay and lesbian community? Do you know, do you have an idea? Do you have a feeling for what it could be?
Well, I think a couple of things. One is the lesbian and gay, bi community have made a lot of progress nationwide, internationally, throughout the country. And so, I mean, there's laws and ordinances, and they've just become more mainstream. And so a lot of these conservatives say, well, what's left? And they look at the trans community and they say, okay, that's a very vulnerable community. That's a community we can go after. And you know, keep in mind, the transgender community really challenges historical gender norms. And that's a pretty big shift. I mean, in one hand, you've got lesbian and gays talking about marriage and being together and community and families. Transgender community, you're talking about challenging the basic fundamental gender norms of what an individual is. And that's a little more difficult to I think get over for a lot of people, particularly the religious evangelicals.
Well, I can only hope that the progress that has been seen within the gay, lesbian, and bi community is progress that we will soon see within the transgender and all other, you know, subdivisions or subsections of the LGBTQ plus community. Theresa, you worked on the Human Rights Commission, and you were on the San Francisco Police Commission as well. Talk to us about what it was like working on both of those commissions.
Well, you know, getting on the police commission was, I think, a shock to everyone in San Francisco, having a transgender person become appointed to the police commission. And I was appointed by the Board of Supervisors, and it was a really interesting you know, journey. I was there 5 years. I rose to at one point of being president. But within the first 3 months, I actually filed a discrimination suit against the SFPD. First time any commissioner had ever done that. And they really didn't know how to deal with it. And we worked our way through it. It was based on some images that they posted about transgender people. And I think we made a lot of progress with the SFPD around the issues of transgender. During my time there, many, I won't say many, but a handful of transgender people actually came out. We developed regulations and general orders to help transgender people, which then became pretty much norm for not only San Francisco, but also the state of California and ultimately the United States. So that was a really, really positive experience. And then I was appointed as executive director of the San Francisco Human Rights Commission. I was formerly a commissioner way back in 2001, and I was appointed executive director. And I was there 9 years, almost 10 years. And that was a very, very a satisfying, very, very interesting position to be in, because you got to see what discrimination really was, and you got to address fundamental discrimination throughout San Francisco. And that was very, very much a high point in not only my career, but also my life.
And I mean, being a part of those commissions, you know, you mentioned the issue with SFPD, the images, the transgender images that kind of were unveiled, and with the Human Rights Commission, you say you know you've witnessed and I'm sure to some degree in your own life you experienced discrimination. Your status as a transgender woman, was your role in either of those commissions impacted, whether it be positive or negative? I know you said a lot of people were surprised that you ended up being on the San Francisco Police Commission. Do you think being transgender helped you, or were you faced with any challenges just by virtue of being trans?
Well, I don't know that it helped me. It helped change the dialogue a little bit. You know, it helped redirect a certain amount of the dialogue, whether it's on whether it's on the Police Commission or within the Human Rights Commission, and it brought it more to the forefront. And people could not help but address trans issues and trans discrimination when a member of the commission, and with the Human Rights Commission as a member, as the executive director of the commission, was actually transgender. So it kind of took it out of the shadows and put it front and center. And I think that was very positive for both human rights and the SFPD. And I'm very proud I was able to help with that.
And I think you are evidence of how important it is to have kind of representation in all areas of whether it be government or any sort of position of power, because again, by virtue of having you on that commission, it kind of forced them to look at the issues that people within the LGBTQ plus and the trans community really face.
Well, you're absolutely right, and it gave me a platform from which I could go other directions. Like one of the highlights of my entire career was in, I think, 2010, 2011. I remember the exact year. I was able to actually address the United Nations. And I think I was probably the first trans person ever to address the United Nations. And it was a very interesting experience. I was very proud of the experience. And again, right there, people saw a transgender person talking from a pulpit that was unusual for that type of a minority. And hopefully some of these things that I've done through my life have helped people understand that, you know, trans people are just not that much different.
I mean, everyone is human at the end of the day, regardless of how you dress, how you present yourself, what your preferences are, what you want out of life. So I certainly agree with you on that. I want to ask you a quick question with regard to Caitlyn Jenner running for governor. Obviously, having someone represent a certain demographic in the position of power is, I think, very important, and I think a lot of people would agree with that. What are your thoughts on Caitlyn wanting to run for governor? She's been met with a lot of criticism from the Republican Party, obviously a lot of criticism from the Democrats. What are your thoughts on where all of that is?
Caitlyn Jenner does not represent the transgender community. I mean, no one person does, but particularly her. Caitlyn Jenner is a very wealthy person. Caitlyn Jenner, in my opinion, represents Caitlyn Jenner. I don't think she knows anything about government. I don't think she knows what governing is. I think, in my opinion, and this is strictly my opinion, I think she's running to further her celebrity status, and that's too bad. I'm just really sorry. I mean, I know a lot of people see her as a representative of the transgender community. The transgender community does not see her as a representative of our community. And so consequently, you know, I think in a lot of ways she presents the entirely wrong image, the the wrong perspective of what being transgender is. It's not being wealthy, and it's not having airplanes, and it's not having TV shows. Being transgender is, for the most part, being discriminated against. If you're African American, it's taking the chance of being murdered. We've had, many murders this year. I think over 25, 26 transgender homicides yet this year. I mean, that's not Caitlyn Jenner, and Caitlyn Jenner can't even associate or can't even visualize what that means.
Well, I think, Theresa, just given your journey and just kind of what you've gone through, and also how you've contributed not only to your community, but really the community surrounding you, I think it goes without saying that you're a very, very inspirational woman. So that leads me to have to ask you, do you have a message for anyone in the LGBTQ community, or specifically the trans community, that's just trying to survive, just trying to get by, trying to succeed, just trying to get through life?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of different ways you can approach it, but I think my fundamental message, and it has been for years, is just don't let anyone else define you. And whether that's lesbian, gay, and most especially transgender, you need to be able to define yourself. You need to be who you are, true to yourself. And what I found is what you reflect out is reflected back to you. And if you show confidence and comfort and in yourself and in who you are, in many cases, people will reflect that back to you. And so I think if I have to give advice, it's to be who you are and be true to who you are.
I love that message so much. Theresa, last question. I know Kansas is home, so if there's no other reason to take someone back to home, it's just the fact that it's home. But what made you want to end your time here in San Francisco to go back to Kansas?
Unfortunately, and there's been a lot written about it, I didn't have a lot of money, and so I couldn't really afford to stay in San Francisco. And so I have 3 grandchildren here. I have 2 of my children are here. I moved from Kansas City 45 years ago to California, and so I decided it was time to come back. But San Francisco, I tell people it took me a year to recover from San Francisco after I got out of it, particularly political scene, because as you know and others know, politics in San Francisco is a blood sport, and I was involved in it for a long time. And it was time just to kind of back off. And it's only now, 3 years later, I'm starting to look at opportunities. For instance, looking at boards of directors where they're looking for diversity. I'm starting to talk to some corporations about that. And so it was time for me to leave. And, Ed Lee, before he passed away, who I considered him a good friend, told me when I told him I was going to have to leave, he said, Theresa, you may live in Kansas, but you'll always be a San Franciscan. And that's really how I feel. I feel like I'm still a San Franciscan, I just happen to live somewhere else.
Well, I will say, just kind of to reflect on what you just said, you are relatable in 2 ways. One, San Francisco obviously is a very LGBTQ friendly place, but also San Francisco is also very expensive. So it is a difficult place to live regardless of who you are. Well, Theresa, again, you are an inspiration to so many, and we are so happy we got a chance to kind of speak with you. You could take the girl out of San Francisco, but in your case, you can't take the San Francisco out of the girl.
That's exactly right. Right. That's exactly right. I mean, yeah, there's so many things I miss about San Francisco, and there's so many things, they ask me about, people here ask me about San Francisco, and I say, I love the image. Sometimes the reality is pretty hard to deal with.
It is what it is. Well, Theresa, we really appreciate your time. Keep doing what you're doing. It's a message that, spreads far and wide, especially here in the Bay Area. And thanks so much for joining us today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Of course. Bye-bye.